back to another episode of Key Factors Podcast Real Estate AF. And the AF stands for And Finance. And we are sponsored by Review My Mortgage, the largest index of mortgage programs in the nation. And I'm your host, Mark Jones. And on this discussion today, I brought along a friend that I want to share his journey, not from just real estate, but prior to real estate and many of the nuances that the roads he took to get into this business. You guys may know him as a customer, as a partner, as a colleague, or you may possibly know him from one of the old school viral videos that he put out, something like this. Does. Without further ado, Moses Thatcher. What's up, Moses?
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man.
I don't know if I cringe or laugh at this, but the backstory real quick is that gentleman lost his leg. That's why it says retired marathon runner.
Oh, wow.
He's embraced it very much, and it makes it even funnier because he does a lot of really good things with prosthetics now, and it's cool to see where he's at with
That's
that.
awesome.
But it's really funny.
I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah, it's funny. I have to point that out all the time. Like, the retired marathon runner, he has crutches. I was like, yeah, he also has one leg.
My God. You can't see the one leg, but it makes sense now.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Well, welcome to the show. Everything has kind of upgraded, and now we're here giving people different discussions, plenty of value in what we do in real estate, but not just real estate. I like people to understand certain journeys that others have taken, the paths, the roads that they've been on, because it is about relatability. We were talking about that before we started here. So if you could just kind of share with us who you are, the basics, and then we're just going to dive into it.
Good deal, man. I've been fortunate to be in real estate for the past.
Bring that mic a little closer.
We got you right here.
There you go.
We're good. Got me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been fortunate to be in the business for 8 years. I say fortunate because I know it's an easy business to burn out of. It's a very expensive hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been blessed and fortunate to be in this business for 8 years. When I describe myself and introduce myself, I tell myself, I start with, I'm a dad of two. I have an 11-year-old boy and a 7-year-old daughter that if I live this earth and I go at some point, if they stay, hey, he was a really good dad when they speak on me, then I lived a very great life. Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest thing. So realtor, dad first. And I'm pretty much grown into this where I'm trying to grow as I age. And it's a lot of growing pains, and it's brought me here, and awesome relationships. Like I said, I'm fortunate and blessed to be part of something like this. So I appreciate you bringing me on.
Heck yeah. Well, I mean, this show has quickly started to gain some popularity, and I think it is a lot to do with the folks that I'm having on, the guests, and the fact that you guys are experts in your field. You're not just going through the motions, you're sharing your journey with your customers, being able to relate with your customers, hence, and more so, you're putting in the work. And it shows not only in your numbers, but in the customers and your social media and everything else. So that being said, I mean, what did you do before you got into real estate? Let's go back further.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
So what helped me, and I didn't start drinking until I was 21.
Okay.
So full transparency, I grew up with a background of just being around alcohol and drugs and all that. I grew up in that lifestyle, but I just never want to do it. So I didn't start drinking until I was 21. I got into the nightlife business.
Okay.
So nightlife business meaning I was a club promoter.
There you go.
It's got that stigma to it.
I was a club promoter once upon a time with John Vale, but it didn't pay well, but I got free drinks. So that's like, bring people to the club, I give you free tab.
Or you get your shout out. We got you. Yeah, we get your shout out. So the cool thing is that perception up until this day is, hey, you're a club promoter, you want to just hung out for free drinks and some free cover. In game is, then you realize there's a business behind it.
Yeah.
You negotiate that 15% of the bar, 100% of the door, whatever it may be. I don't want to dive in, but that's where it was. That's where I started. I had the opportunity. I had a cool following. I've always been an approachable guy. I've always had fun with life, no matter what. That's why I started drinking as 21. I still had a good time no matter what. Mm-hmm. So I got invited into that. They said, hey, I'll do a real quick rundown of how that first
That
meeting
need to
went.
be real quick. Go ahead.
That first meeting went is I used to throw backyard parties. I was at high school, growing into 18. I used to throw backyard parties, and then I used to hire a DJ. I used to buy a bunch of cheap liquor.
There you go.
A bunch of $7 bottles that I thought was the coolest thing in the world. So the cheapest K you could get, I think it was like Keystone or Natty, some Natty Lights. And then
$55.
Absolutely. And then I'd slap a Bud Light cap on it because no one's ever going to taste the difference of it. And it just looks like I was balling for a little bit. But it would do stuff like that. And basically what happens is like a DJ was like, hey man, have you ever thought about getting paid for this? And I was like, you get paid for this kind of stuff? I just did it for the girls and like to have fun. Right. I thought it was cool. And then we have a good time. And then, so he's like, yeah. So he set up a meeting with the club owner. And I sit with the club owner. It was a Thursday night in a club downtown in San Antonio. And he says, hey, I walk in. There's probably like 6 people max.
Okay.
And then it's him and his partner. And he says, hey, man, like, the DJ does the intro. And he's like, he's interested in promoting. And the guy's like, well, have you ever done this before? It's like, well, absolutely not. Outside of what I'm just throwing backyard party. And then so he laughs. And he's like, well, it's not that easy. And he laughs almost at me. I was like, bro, you have 7 people in here right now, and I brought 4. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Let's try to help each other out here.
Yeah.
And then, fast forward a few weeks later, we're at capacity, man. It blew up. And this is I'm about to show my age a little bit more because when I say Facebook, and Facebook's already pretty much for the older people, I guess.
He's about to go MySpace check.
So I'm like real big over MySpace here. You know what I mean? Like, I might put you on my top 8 after this. But in-game is redid the work for it. I used to I hired like 4 or 5 of my best friends, and we just started pushing it out and started opening up other doors in the nightlife. So it was always good for me. It helped me with my real estate. We say our network is our net worth.
Yes.
And so it makes life a lot easier if your circle, your sphere of influence is large. So I started my sphere of influence back then.
Yeah.
So I got in at 22. I did this. It grew. It started to grow a lot more. And during the day, though, I was a banker. I started as a bank teller. Then I became a loan officer. It was like basically.
Where did you start banking at?
At First Mark Credit Union.
Okay, good deal.
Shout out First Mark, because in real estate, when I got into real estate X amount of years later, I closed like 4 or 5 of my past employees or coworkers' houses. So I appreciate that. But no, that's when I was always a banker a day, and at night I was selling a party, which I learned to operate off of 4 hours of sleep.
Yep.
So it made it. The entrepreneurship was always there because we got paid pretty well to do this nightlife stuff. But it was also I'm 22 years old and I'm working with my best friends, and it also came with the nightlife downfalls. You know what I mean? Like we're just where stuff was sacrificing and stuff, whatever maybe that came with it. But that's where I started my network, and because it's opened up doors, I've got to meet really good people.
Yeah,
I met my best friend through the nightlife just because he was a GM at a club.
Okay.
And I remember being super intimidated by the guy. Shout out Justin Vitek.
Okay.
Because it's been a really great relationship.
Justin's a good dude.
Yeah, it's been a great relationship for me since he's open. He's helped me grow in my life, just outside of just for someone I met in a club. Yeah. And he's helped me grow just in my life and my business so much.
Does he still own the what is it, Ice House over here?
Yeah, Hills and Dells.
Hills and Dells.
Yeah, Hills and Dells. So he's dove into, when I met him, he was a GM.
And what a completely different place that is now.
Oh, absolutely. It's grown so much. And everyone knows me. If they ever want to run it, if I owe you money, just run into me. Just meet me at Hills and Dells. I was like, I'm pretty sure you're going to run into me. And I just go hang out there. He's opened up doors for me. And this is how the relationship builds, is you allow people in your circle. And if you find value in them, then that's obviously a great relationship. Mm-hmm. And I tell people this quick story of how I started to grow, like how my business growth started to change, just being surrounded by someone who's business driven.
Absolutely.
So what happened was, I remember growing up in the southeast side of San Antonio, and my grandparents took us in. We pretty much ate the same meals every day, took cold showers, stuff like that. We always had a roof. My grandma was a saint. She was a saint, and she made sure that me and my brother were okay. But when I was always a big sports fan.
Okay.
And then going to the Spurs games, and this happens at the Alamo Dome, and you said the Alamo Dome, it's a football stadium.
Absolutely.
We used to just be happy to be in the stadium.
Yeah.
You used to just be happy. They transitioned to the AT&T Center or Frostbank now, but I used to just be happy to be in the building because, hey, I'm a big fan.
That's right.
And then, so when I get to start to hang out when I start my relationship start to grow, Justin and I started getting closer, and he says, hey man, you want to go to the game with me? Which I thought that was weird because at the time I was always intimidated by him. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. It's Spurs game. Like, I'm going to jump at the opportunity just because I'm a big Spurs fan.
Yeah.
So he takes me and we're sitting row 25. And mind you, this is the first time where I was like, oh,
dude,
like,
the court's right there.
We're right here. Like, we don't got to go up these flights of stairs. And I'm in awe. Like, I'm just like, hey, man, this is really cool. And he says, hey, like, this is normal.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I usually do. And I'm like, well, shit, like, I want this to be normal for me.
Right.
Like, so that's what changed my perception with that, where I was like, well, now that I have my kids and that I've grown, now this is not a brag or anything. It's like, hey, this is raising expectations in my head the same way he did with me. This is normal. Now, when I take my kids somewhere to like a game,
Mm-hmm.
this is normal for them, because now that I want them to expect the best.
Sure.
And I just want that standard and expectations to be there. Not just so much like myself, who was just happy to be in the building. I want to own the building.
Absolutely. Well, so I'm going to piggyback on some of this stuff that you're saying here before we transition. But number one, San Antonians, we aren't NBA fans. We are Spurs fans.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm a season ticket holder now, I don't know, 11, 12 years. At the end of the day, whether we're winning or losing, there's butts in the seats.
Absolutely.
And that says a lot about our city. It's pretty strong in that regard. Now, in regards to your upbringing and mine, very similar, dude. I've got a kid that's 7 and another kid that's 10. The sphere of influence concept, very similar in the sense that I did not have a mentor that was showing me the way. I had to seek it in others without them knowing that that's what I'm doing at first. And I believe that's kind of what you did until you were like, you know what? What are you doing? How are you doing this? Yeah. And I also came from banking, started at Chase. Started at the bank inside of Walmart. At that time, I was doing promoting with John Vale. I was running poker games. I was not in a fraternity, but I was associated with a fraternity. I was the guy that was helping throw parties. They were like, we got to raise money. I'm like, well, let's buy a bunch of kegs and charge head. Very similar. Yeah. And at the time, I was open to company credit repair, all that jazz. But it kind of goes back to that idea of I was seeking mentorship and knowing that everybody says that you can be here. How do you get there? Absolutely. Because for me, looking outwards, I'm not seeing that as a possibility for my situation until I saw somebody that came from similar upbringings actually doing it. Absolutely. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Because it becomes attainable.
Yeah.
Now you're like, hey, man, like, it's attainable. So I always, and it's something I talk about. I tell my son this every day. He's super talented in basketball, but his work ethic.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, man, there's work ethic will trump talent any day.
Yeah.
So what I used to just sit and think is like, I just want to outwork you. And that was with anything. If you're going to, I tell people, I don't care if you work at Burger King, you better be the best damn burger flipper there. Right. Like, why? If you're going to be there, you might as well try to be the best at something you're doing.
That's right.
So I'm real big on that. And so I learned a lot of work ethic will carry a long way. Mm-hmm. And so that's where you transition. That's where I was okay with the 4 hours of sleep and whatever it may be. And then, like you said, like we talk about is I just wanted to do better. I just didn't know how to do it. So you not latch on, but it's more of you when you build a relationship, because you have relationships with friends that would take you completely down.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it has a lot to do with what you're basing that relationship on. And as it evolves, you're trying to determine if this is someone that you should emulate, so to speak. And it's tough for us growing up to know what is right, what is wrong. I think we know the difference, but at the same time, you've got that cool factor versus not. And the person that's grinding, getting 4 hours of sleep because they're putting in the work versus the guy that's getting 4 hours of sleep because he's out partying. It's hard to tell the difference, especially when it happens behind the scenes, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. No, it's hard to juggle. And then it is, especially you bring in the age of social media, it makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
You see the new cars, the new this, the trips and all that, and you're like, damn, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. And what I've run into is you get some success in this business. You get in a business, it pays really well.
Yeah.
Now you put some money in your pocket and I've never had structure. I never told me how to pay taxes the right way of how much I'm supposed to put to the side. If I see X amount of dollars in the bank account, it's like, oh, maybe I should go to Vegas 2 times in 1 month.
Yep.
makes no sense. Like,
But it did then.
In the moment, it's like, this is like an awesome idea.
Yeah.
But so then you like, you can't fault. I have really good conversations with another gentleman. His name's Nate Askew.
Okay.
Former NFL player, great guy. I consider like a brother to me. And he says, and it's easy when we see something on the news like, Allen Iverson has gone broke.
Mm.
And they're like, damn, how'd he do that? He made $100 million.
Yeah.
So you give myself or like anybody coming from like, my grandparents they raised me to their best ability.
Right.
They told me, hey, don't open up credit cards.
Yeah.
Don't everything's got to be cash. If you don't have this, don't do that. You've taught out of fear. It's financial literacy is not tapped into.
Yes, sir.
So now you give me, who grew up with bare minimum, you drop, let's say, and this is not, I'm just throwing numbers. It's not a flex or anything. You drop $100,000 in an account.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do I do next? I should spend it.
I'm rich.
Yeah, I should spend it.
Correct.
And I'm rich. And I talked to like the gentleman, like I referenced Nate, and he says, man, he's like, bro, I was getting X amount of dollars each game. Like, I'm gonna spend it because I'm gonna go make it again in the next game. Mm-hmm. And it's a rat race we're never gonna get out of. And then it's a scary thing because you could lose it.
I'll relate that. So others out there that aren't in real estate, aren't in mortgage, aren't an entrepreneur just yet, making your own paycheck, so to speak. I'm going to relate that to our tax refunds that we get every year. And we see it time and time every year like clockwork. You get a large lump sum. Within the next 15 days, it's all gone. Yep. And whatever you spent it on, you justify it however you do. Oh, I needed the new car, or my kids needed the clothes, or they needed whatever it was that you spent all the money on. Instead of every once in a while, you come across somebody that every year they put most of it away in the savings account, or they leverage it into a property, real estate, or they pay down debt instead of getting into more debt. And I think it has a lot to do with what we see, like you said, social media. Everybody's keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak. And on social media, most people, it's their own story. They just want you to see the good. Never do you see, unless you're seeing people that are bitching about stuff, and that I tune out or unfollow or what have you. But I would like to see more of the failures on social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then it paints a little bit more realistic picture for those that are following or that you're influencing, to know that you're human. Yeah. This is not a scripted situation. Shit happens, and sometimes it hits the fan. Yeah.
Shit happens to good people. I tell people all the time. I said, shit happens to good people. I was like, just because it's easy to be like, oh, why me? Why this? Why that? I'm like, hey, man, life happens. It just happens. So that's where I related to when I got into banking. I didn't realize I needed a credit score until I was like 21.
Okay.
Because I was just raised off of just, say, if you can't afford it cash, or if you go buy a house, it has to be for sale by owner. You don't want to get with banks. You don't want to do that. And if you do buy a house, you're going to need 750 credit score. You're going to need $20,000 in the bank, which is, we're taught off of fear as a culture.
Yes, sir.
And it's not so much a fear. It's just, the message just keeps getting passed down. It's like if I tell you something, you tell JC something, the story's going to change a little bit, but it's also going to get probably a little bit worse.
Yes, sir.
And more elaborate. So when I got into banking, I realized how much credit score mattered, and I realized how much it wasn't taught to us.
Yes.
So I used to take pride in looking at a credit report and saying, hey, man, like, we should do a balance transfer with this. We have the 0% interest of that. Let's refinance this car, or refinance this high interest credit card. We have this promo, and let's do the 20, like your credit lines. If you have a $5,000 credit line, let's not carry the 20%. I learned this stuff, and I learned it and I'm just doing it myself. And then I used to be happy to talk to my friends about it.
And I believe that right there, that small nugget that you're adding, is a huge nugget that helps you in business, in real estate, in life, all of the above, because you understand the bigger picture. Whereas, for example, today and age, we'll get someone that is wanting to purchase a home, but they can't afford a certain payment, so therefore they're going to not buy a home. But when you look at the credit report, you've got credit card here, you've got credit card there, installment loan for this, but yet you've got $15,000 in the bank. Instead of worrying about this mortgage payment, why not pay off these small debts that gets rid of that $200 a month, $300 a month, $150 a month? Now you've got whatever, $650 relieved in debt, and that mortgage payment is not the same as it was having that debt. Yeah, that's something that most people don't even focus on.
Absolutely, and it's more of it's because credit could turn into a real deep pool and it gets real scary.
Oh yeah.
And
they'll keep giving you more too.
They'll give it. They'll give it. And absolutely, you live off, you'll give it. So with that, like, so when I started educating people on that, like, and I tell people real big, I know the bare minimum of what I need to know about financing.
Sure.
So I could tell you what certain things are, what percents and all that, but that's not my world.
Right.
So when I get a transaction, I'm going to be like, hey, Mark, that's his world. That's his lane. I'm never going to veer into that.
Right.
But I'm here to help guide you to what I know, what I do know. But realistically, when it comes to that, I'm going to pass it off to someone that's their world. So when I started educating people on credit and stuff, it just made me happy because this is stuff that's not, like I said, I reference back. It's not instilled in us.
Correct.
When we do this, like when we're growing up. And then I've always tried to find a way to like put this in words.
Okay.
And it's not to offend anybody. It's easy to say is when you see a white man and he's setting up his kids and they have an established neighborhood, they live in awesome suburbs and all this, and I'm on the other side of town and my grandma's house is falling apart. Our belief systems and our raising is completely different. But over there, it's their kids are on their credit cards at 16, 17 as authorized signers. When they go into college or whatever it may be, their credit score is already in the 700s. They're set up for, I would say, success.
Yeah.
They're starting the race a little bit ahead of everyone else where I'm starting my race. And so when I talk to my friends and close friends, like just in clients, I'm like, hey, we got to start thinking different. Just because we weren't educated on this way. You got to start now. Our kids got to be started prepping up to this race that we're so used to starting behind, and it's through this pity party of like, well, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. I'm like, cool, tough shit, let's go.
That's
like,
right.
What do you want to do about it?
And it's a situation. Definitely, it's education and lack of education. But at this point in time, I mean, we can go back and talk about, we were oppressed and all that. I'm Black and Mexican, so I got it both at the end of the day, and I've got no excuses for anybody nor myself. And the idea is, did we do it to ourselves, or is it being done to us? At this point in time, knowing what we know, having access to everything that we do, we're now doing it to ourselves if we don't get out of that rat race or we don't break that vicious cycle that has been occurring, because what happened before was all we knew or all someone was willing to take in regards to the risk to get to the next level. And you posted something recently that, man, it hit hard. And I'm glad that you had the confidence and goal to post that out there, because there's a lot of folks that are still playing the victim role, maybe not because they want to, but because they think they have to. And that is just not the case in our world these days. I love the way that you set that up in the regards to, why is it okay for someone to set their kids up after they work their ass off, but it's not okay for someone else to do the same thing? It makes zero sense when you put it that way. Yeah. I love that, by the way.
And it's true, man. And like, we live in a world that it's easy to sit back and victimize yourself. Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Like, when it comes down to it, you cried.
Yep.
Cool. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
And that's anything.
Yeah.
If I wrecked my car, if I whatever, it's just life is like, it hit me, really kicked me in the nuts today.
Yeah.
Let me hurt for a day, and then the next day, the pain's still gonna be there. But are you gonna sit there and mope, or are we gonna sit there and do something about it? And that's what it comes down to. Is like, it's the easy way.
Mm-hmm.
You could have excuses or results.
That's right.
And that's when you really decide, okay, I want different. And you're never too late. I praise people all the time. They're like, hey, I really want to go back to school, but I feel like I'm old. I said, look, how long does it take you to go to school? Another 3 years. I said, 3 years is coming no matter what. You might as well have your degree in 3 years.
That's right.
It's going to suck, but 3 years is coming no matter what. You're going to be in the same spot, or you're going to have your degree now in 3 years.
It's a great way to put that.
And just no matter what, life is coming, and it's not going to pause for you.
Right.
No matter what you find yourself in dark places, and it's how do you want to get out of those dark places? Are you gonna sit here and victim, like you're gonna be a victim your whole life, or you're just gonna sit there? I have kids. It's not just my life that I can't. If I sit in a dark corner and cry, it's not just my world that's just shut down. It's, hey, Dad, what's wrong with Dad? What's Dad doing? What's Dad doing? Like, Dad, I want this. Dad, I'm hungry. Or Dad, whatever it may be. You just don't control that anymore.
And just like the cash situation versus the credit, they see it and think that that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Versus the alternative of, pulling yourself up and getting back to work or whatever it is. And I believe that a lot of folks see what we post on social media and think that we don't have any woes, that we don't have any failures. And that is just not the case. Matter of fact, we probably fail more than most out there. The difference is we don't bask in our failures. We find other ways to continue moving forward with this thing called life, so to speak.
Yeah.
And is it because we have succeeded after failing? Is it because we've seen others succeed and we saw them fail, so we know that it is possible? I don't know, but it's something that we go through, that we turn a switch and say, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Absolutely. And then it's no, you do, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and you have the same results for everyone, don't
insanity, baby.
Insanity.
Yep.
And then it's not a quick, you got to get out of your head that it's a quick get rich thing.
Yeah.
We live in a world where, hey, I'm gonna just make a bunch of social media posts and I'm an influencer. Like, I wouldn't influence you to freaking give me directions down the street, but you want to tell me I should take your financial advice? I went to school with you, bro.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You know, like,
yes.
So it comes down to that. It's more of like, I love the initiative, I love that, but it's not everything wants a quick fix, quick rich, quick thing scheme.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, like, you know, if, like I told you earlier, my biggest fear is ever having to clock in again in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a prideful man to where I know if God forbid, if that ever happens, I'm not going to sit here and what am I going to do? Sit and like get into government assistance? Like, no, like I'm going to go Uber. I'm going to go clock in somewhere if I have to, as much as I don't want to, but I'm going to work my way back up to where I was once, was there once. So it's, you got to have it in your head, and it's a mental toughness that you can't, I don't think you could teach it. You got to want it.
Right.
And then being a big Spurs fan, obviously Kobe was one of our arch nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Like is the Mamba.
Yes, sir.
Hated everything that he did to the Spurs, but I loved everything he represented.
Yes.
It was never a big like, oh, you know, like, but you respect it.
Amen.
You got to respect it because it really is like the job's not done. Work harder, work harder. And that's what, if you relate that to anything, then you're like, you set yourself up for a lot better than just, hey, it's going to fall into my lap.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And nothing with that mindset is impossible. It's how long can I withstand the hurt to get to the prize at the end? And then once you get to the prize at the end, and I talked about this before, but is that enough for you? Yeah. Chances are it's not going to be. Once you've been through all of that to get to where you are, you go, you know what? I can go further.
Yeah.
It's amazing what the human body, the human brain, our psyche is capable of. I mean, we can withstand so much, but we don't believe we can until we go through it, and time heals all things. You look back and you go, holy shit.
You laugh at it.
Exactly.
But in the moment, the world's burning down, and it's like, man, it sucks. When you just stop kicking me when I'm down?
That's right.
And that's the hardest part, because if you're going through something in life, and if I'm going through something and everyone tells me the right things in the world, everyone can tell me every single thing that I need to hear. And then if you fast forward, they were actually right. Hey, it gets better. Hey, I promise, stay positive, find better habits, start to work out, do this. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like I'm going through a separation. Like I'm going through, my business is failing. You want me to go work out? Like, shut up. But I look back now, I'm like, you know, man, I had to occupy my brain, and it was all correct. And I look back now, I was like, man, life was not that bad. And it sounds crazy, and it sounds kind of cliche, is when Biggie, I used to laugh when I heard Biggie say, more money, more problems.
Yeah.
That's a real damn problem.
That's a real thing.
And it's not it's because I wasn't trained mentally.
Right.
The more money you see, the more you spend.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got a raise. That means I could afford another $400 on my auto payment.
Yeah.
And it's self-induced. A lot of the stuff is self-induced, and it's because you just got to properly train yourself. And a lot of times I'm a habitual, learn the hard way person.
Same here, brother. I am selling school of hard knocks.
Habitual self-imploder of bad decisions. And I could be like, no, everything, it sounds good in the moment. I could convince myself. But in the moment, and then you look back and I was like, all right, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Now it's crazy if I go do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've talked to you about it like briefly, is accountability.
Yes, sir.
Accountability is one of the biggest things that I had to accept in the past year.
Okay.
Where I had to look in the mirror and say, I could have did this better. I could have did that better. And the only reason why I'm here is because me.
Yeah.
No one's ever put on a puppet.
Right.
I was easily influenced or whatever it may be. I had to look in the mirror and like, hey, you're being lazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're being a womanizer. You're being just a habitual self-imploder. You just,
But at the same time, what you learned, and another self word, was self-awareness.
Yeah.
And that concept in itself is a very tough thing to understand. That goes alongside with the EQ, emotional intelligence, and knowing yourself, and knowing how you're going to take certain situations, what type of person you are. Am I going to relay this to a customer, to a friend, the same way? No, I'm not. Why? Because I know them. I know that they act this way or are treated this way. And it's when selling, essentially, it's don't sell the way that you sell the way that they want to buy, essentially. So just wanted to add that little caveat in there, but keep going. I'm loving the way this conversation's going.
and that's what, and it's, I've sold my business on relatability. I told you briefly how I was in the first 6 months, I thought I had to wear a suit and tie every day to work.
So before we get into that, tell us what transitioned you from what you were doing, banking world, promoting, all that good stuff, into real estate. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, and I'm gonna mention a guy's name that's probably been mentioned a few times on this podcast. I'm assuming is Scott Maloof.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. He's been on the podcast.
Yeah, so Scott, man, I owe a lot to him, and to this day, I will speak obviously pretty often. I still shoot him a thank you. Hey man, I appreciate you, because what I just did is not attainable because you didn't open a door for me. And when I say open a door, is he guided me through it. Scott didn't sit there and tell me how to do my first transaction.
Nothing was given.
Nothing was given. So Scott, and it's a quick story of, I've known Scott prior to real estate, I know him for 10 plus years, just due to the nightlife business. What we did, we were people connectors. And then so I made a bet with Scott for a Super Bowl. Scott is a very big Denver Broncos fan, and at the time they were playing the Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And he made a bet, a $500 bet. It's what it was, $500 bet. We were both a little intoxicated. If I was sober, I probably wouldn't have done a $500 bet.
Okay.
So anyways, we made this bet, and obviously Cam Newton and the Panthers let me down, but Broncos won. So Scott calls me, he says, hey, I'm gonna go by your place and go pick up the money. I said, cool. He picks me up from my apartment, and we go to ATM. I pull out some more money, and I pay him. And he's like, "Hey man, I've been in this real estate for about a year and a half, 2 years at the time." And he's like, "I'm doing really well." He's like, he's showing me Scott has papers in his car, his net sheets, and he's in some CDAs, what he's getting paid and stuff, like his deals. He says, "Moses, whatever we did in the nightlife business to grow our business, our networking." We're connecting people. We're a service.
Yeah.
We come from service to make sure our sections and everything was taken care of. So we carried over to real estate. The payoff and the gratification is completely different.
Wow.
And so I remember that it was around, I think, the income tax time, and I was that time I was a business banker now.
Okay.
And so I remember getting
I did the same thing. Wow.
I was at the Bank of San Antonio. Yep. I did the business banking. Miserable. Sorry, Bank of San Antonio.
Fact of life.
Best thing you ever did was let me go. So I did. I went and took. I think I got like a $1,800, $1,500 income tax return, and I went to the San Antonio Board of Realtors, paid for all my classes up front, and I was working from 8 to 5, and I was doing real estate classes from 6 to 10.
Okay.
So it kind of annoying that if you had a free schedule, what people could do in 6 weeks, it was taking me 12, and it was taking me a lot longer because I was having to do it at night, and I was having to break it all up. So I did that. So I did that for the longest time, where I took his advice, and I was like, you know what, man, am I really going to be a banker my whole life?
Right.
Am I going to be a club promoter my whole life? I'm never going to own the bank.
That's right.
I'm tired of y'all giving me pizza parties when you are making billions.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I saw that concept over and over. $60,000 is my ceiling while working in the bank, no matter how much I leverage, cross-sell, et cetera, et cetera.
Worked hard.
And it was like, I need to switch over to something commission-based that I actually get paid for my efforts. Funny story, Scott Maloof. So I guess this was, if you came into contact with him in regards to the real estate thing 2 years after he got in the business, 2 years prior to that, this was, goodness gracious, when did he get in? That had to be 2013, 2014, right in that range, 2015. Mm-hmm. So Josh Kearns, childhood best friend with my brother, was working at ADP right across the hall from where we were officing, is Scott's cousin. Scott came into the business And Josh walked him into my office. And at the time I was blowing up. We were doing 30, 40 million. I was loving life. Walked him into my office, said, I want to introduce you to Scott. He's my cousin, club promoter. He's getting into real estate, blah, blah, blah. Me at the time, I was on my high horse, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
This guy's killing it.
He's killing it. Yes.
Yeah. And it's where it goes relationships.
Yeah.
And it goes relationships without Scott having a conversation with me. I chalk it up as a joke to losing a bet. Without Scott coming from contribution and leading with, hey, man, he wants to see me do better. If he doesn't have those conversations with me, I don't sell $50 million in real estate.
That's right.
I don't help 300 plus clients accomplish their real estate goals.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to, is the bigger picture. Is you may not always seem like someone has the best interest. Oh, Scott just talks to me. He's just telling everybody this.
Right.
But in game is he came from contribution. He's like, yeah, I think I want you to do better. I want you to do better. And in game is like, Scott's obviously killing it, but my clients don't get, like, some of my best friends and some of my clients don't get to experience their real estate goals if he doesn't transition me into that world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
do.
That's where it's crazy when you look back at the scheme of things. I'm like, damn, I said, this doesn't happen without that relationship.
It kind of puts things in perspective. And a good friend of mine, Jeff Alfors, part owner in Mark Motors out in Bernie, shout out, taught me this concept of making deposits. And it's not talking about money. You're talking about people. You make deposits into people all throughout your life. And if you make enough deposits, you'll get what you want in life. When it's time to start making those withdrawals, you make the withdrawals, but until then, you just make deposits, baby. Just keep making deposits into people. And I love that concept. Still use it to this day.
Hey, you gotta be a people connector, and you gotta look out. Like, what's helped me is one of my clients managed a auto collision center. And she had hosted I think it was a yearly thing they do. They bring in, they cater the food and everything.
Okay.
And so their caterer backs out. One of my other clients, which Tacos Hermanos.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. I know my other client owns a food truck, and he does this kind of stuff. You bring them together and they're both forever grateful.
Wow.
Because, hey man, I appreciate it. He worked out perfect. Our office got fed. And we appreciate that. And they appreciate that kind of stuff because...
And the great part about that is you didn't expect or want anything out of that. You probably didn't know it at the time, but I'm a connector. I'm adding value to people's lives any way that I can. You fast forward and you go, holy cow, that's what I was doing. Yeah. I was building my network based on value, based on me giving value, which is what Scott did to you.
Strictly coming from, hey, you're offering something. And one of the things and this is for anyone coming into your business of sales. Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time. One of the things that stuck with me was Craig Owen told me Angie's List was created because realtors are lazy. Mm-hmm. And then if you're not familiar, Angie's List is a go-to spot. Hey, I need a plumber. Hey, I need a landscaper. I need this. And this is where they go.
Right.
As a realtor, I'm your database.
That's right.
You should be like, hey, I need a plumber. Hey, I got one. Hey, I need this. I got that. And I'm real big on keeping money in my friends' pockets too. They obviously got to offer. They also got to offer great service.
Sure.
They got to be reasonable and stuff like that. I don't refer someone out that I'm not willing to use myself.
Correct.
And then I also want. But if I know someone who makes T-shirts, I'm going to call my friend first before I go to Google.
Yeah.
So, and they appreciate that because one of the good relationships I have is with the Sean Sexton. He's
right across the hall here. Yeah, good dude.
What I love
about high school with his wife.
I went to middle school with his wife.
No way.
Yeah, with Brittany, I went to middle school with his wife. And it's just such a small world that it's like, hey, Brittany, and I see Sean, and we were talking, we did business when I first got into real estate, and it's like, that's your wife? And she's like, Moses? And it's such a small world.
That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, so with Sean, massive, he's got a great business.
Absolutely.
And he's really smart. And I refer my clients, say, need insurance. Here's Sean. He's my go-to insurance broker.
Yeah.
Sean would send me a text that says, thank you for keeping food on my kid's plate. And Sean doesn't need my business to keep food on it.
Correct. Yeah.
But just the fact that you took that time out to send me that text and send me a $50, like I believe it's like an Amazon gift card, whatever it may be. It's just, man, like I love that.
And he has the time to show that appreciation. And What's funny is all of these things are tying back in this cycle of awesome, because what Sean practices, Guarantee he learned it from his parents.
Absolutely.
His parents also own businesses and whatnot. And the idea is we now have the opportunity to do the same thing. The idea of appreciation, taking a moment to send that appreciation text message, just saying thank you for what you do for my family, goes such a long way that now you probably pick up that trait as well to do the same thing, not because you want more business, but because it's the right thing to do to grow a business successfully and something that is recession proof and long lasting and building in the empire, so to speak.
Absolutely. And it's you pay for services. You like, and we're in a business where you pay a little bit more because, hey man, I like the way they treat me at Purcell.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you go to Purcell, it's super. I said, it is expensive, but I like the way you treat me. Mm-hmm. And then you go back to people, you're a customer before you're a business.
Yes, sir.
I like the service I get from certain places. I don't mind going back, even if I got to pay a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I love how they treat me and I love how they talk to me. I love how I go into my business bank and they say, hey, Mr. Thatcher, hey, Moses, like, how's Sienna, my daughter? How are the kids? I see this and that. You can't.
There's no dollar amount.
You can't. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Like, and it costs you. And I wrote this the other day on Facebook. Costs you $0 to be a good person. Mm-hmm. And if everybody operated this way, I'm not a life coach because I'm damn for sure the last person to be a life coach. Is if you operated with life is, I don't care who you marry. I don't care if it's same sex. I don't care religion. I don't care what it is. If you're not an asshole, then you're okay.
That's right.
Life is going to be okay. I promise. If you sit here and get worked up over what someone else is doing, then you're just going to be miserable your whole life.
There's a quote. Let's see if I get it right. Someone else's success robs you of nothing.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Literally. I mean, you think about it and you go, why are you hating on this man when you could be learning from that man, this woman, whatever. But the idea is we quickly as humans, because of our culture, upbringing, whatever, our woes, go quickly to becoming a hater instead of a fan or a participant.
Absolutely. It's easier to go with the hate side.
It's
so much easier to be a hater.
Weird.
And I go back to what I heard in CBC a couple weeks ago is comparison is a thief of joy. And if you break that down, it was hard to get in real estate and look at someone who's restarting the same position.
Right.
You're like, damn, they're closing this deal. They're closing this deal. They're closing this deal. It's hard to not discourage, be a little bit of a hater.
Yeah.
It's easy like, well, what are they doing? Like, why are they doing? I'm cooler than this person. I'm smarter than this person. Dude, if you just sat there and did that the whole time, you're just gonna be like, I'm never gonna be good enough. And you go with your whole life.
Right.
Comparisons is like, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
And it's tough, man.
It's a snowball that gets bigger and bigger. Yeah. And by the time I know a lot of people that are in their older age and are still assholes.
That sucks, man.
It sucks.
And
and you saying that sucks goes back to something that an old mentor, partner, etc., taught me was people would ask, why are you such in a good mood all the time? And it's not necessarily that I'm in a good mood, but I tend to wear my best self as much as I possibly can. Why? Because the other way just sucks. Simple. You want to go through life being this complainer, everything's happening to me, et cetera, woe is this, or you can put that smile on and get through the same day. Matter of fact, my son, time to clean your room. But nobody's going to be in there. You know what, son? If you do it with a smile on your face, for some odd reason, you'll feel better about it. And now he'll say that. You know what, Dad? If I do it with a smile on my face, it'll be better.
And something so simple transitions.
Simple.
When he becomes a dad. It's tad bits like stuff like that that makes a huge difference. I coach my son's basketball team, and I love it because I remember when as a kid when my dad would coach us, he took the fun out of it. My man would take the fun out of a theme park.
That was my dad.
He would take the fun out of the theme park. I'm telling you, it ruined it. Like, come on.
Yes.
So I when I coach my son's team, it's a lot of stuff that I take from real estate I carry over to them, and I look at them. They started coaching them at 9. Now they're 11, and it's hey, and I get mad at him, and he's like, hey, where's your uniform top? I don't know where it's at. I'm like, dude, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And this is all real estate stuff.
Yes.
And they're like, and I'm having them repeating it. I'm like, guys, it's not your parents' responsibility. And I tell him, I point at my son and he's like, what is it? He's like, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That's right.
And I'm like, see, and then I was like, I'm gonna quote a great philosopher, Deion Sanders, because my son likes to look cool. And he's like, well, Dad, I don't know where my headband is, and I don't know where this. And I was like, look, guys, if y'all feel good about the way you look, your energy's different.
That's right.
So it's not, like, I told my son, so you want to fit this look, and you want to, so your energy is a little different. Your chest's a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
Your chin's a little higher. Your chest is out. I said, if you feel good, guys, and this is what life, you feel good, you play good, they pay good.
That's right.
Like,
I like that. I've never heard that. That's damn good.
So Deion says it's an energy thing.
I always went by if you study how you get high grades, but that didn't apply for some reason.
This is pretty much the same thing. We're good. So yeah, that's what I tell him. I said, hey man, like you want to be this. You're growing. You want to be this boy. You want to be the coolest kid out here. I said, you're fortunate. You're blessed to have a dad. You know, like okay, we could get you some cool shoes every so often.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to start taking care of this shit.
That's right.
We're going to clean them now and we're going to resell them.
That's right.
Or we're going to donate them. Like
teaching him that concept so young is going to go so far. And you know how to think back, because you mentioned your dad and coaching. I wonder if back then, because I look back at it and I'm like, man, all the players freaking love my dad. Yeah. I wonder if it was just me. It's the same concept. It's like, God, why are you such an ass?
I laugh all the time.
Shout out, Pops.
Yeah, I laugh all the time because my dad's still the same man. A lot softer now. So much
exactly
softer. Even with my kids, I'm like, when the hell was this? I was like, man, when the hell is this? So, he's still the same though, because he'll go to we go watch my son play baseball, and the umpire's turning at him and telling him like, hey man, I'm not doing this shit. I'm talking about we're 3 pitches into a game, and he's like, I'm not doing this. So you're gonna keep talking. You're getting out here. I was like, Pops, you got it. Like but awesome. It's still the same. So I respect the older generation because there's nothing that's gonna change him. So I was like, I respect it, but he's a lot softer now. So that's what's cool to see.
Yeah, my dad actually says the same thing. I mean, I'm already 50 something years old. I'm not gonna change at this point. I'm like, okay, but you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you could.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. We're gonna do this. So the world's changing. You kind of got to adapt a little bit. So
yeah. Okay, so got into the real estate thing, man. I tell you what, JC, how long have we gone
through this?
It's now 48 minutes.
Okay, we're good. We're good. So tying it back to real estate, and I'm loving your journey, man. I'm telling you, very similar upbringing, very similar. A lot of attributes within your life that you've experienced, etc. When you were in real estate, at what point in time did you start practicing what you were preaching? And what I mean by that is, have you, since jumping into real estate and being successful, leveraged any of that to buying investment properties, flipping properties, anything like that into new failures, so to speak?
Absolutely. So what I credit Jack Hawthorne a lot.
Okay.
Jack Hawthorne taught me and instilled, this is your business. Mm-hmm. You're not a realtor, you're your own business. Start thinking like a businessman. Mm-hmm. So when I say, for example, like I like sneakers. So we'll get on the app, we'll try to get the sneakers when they drop. So if you worked at Foot Locker,
what do you use, the Goat app?
No, Sneaker app.
Okay.
Sneaker app. So Goat is, I try not to pay over market value. Hey, I'm still trying to. Oh, you got money. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. So no,
it's sad because it keeps a log of all the ones that you've purchased. You're like, damn.
I go through my closet. I'm like, dude, I gotta add these. So when it comes to someone related it to me is, hey, you like sneakers. So if you worked at Foot Locker, you have access to the newest Nikes and Jordans before the streets have them.
Wow.
You're in real estate. You have access to the best deals before we put them on the market.
It's true.
So you got to think now, when I first got into real estate, if someone approached me and said, hey, I inherited this property. I just want to sell it. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I just want to make $50,000 off it. I don't want nothing to do with it. Let's go. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like I could put this on the market right now, make a quick 3% commission, and we'll walk away with like $1,000 I was never going to have anyways, right. Whatever it may be. But now when he trained me, so Jack's like, hey man, we got the best access to the best deals. And so now what we do is when we see these deals now, the very first deal is one of my very first flip.
Okay.
I had a really good deal. I helped my client. It was a middle school friend actually. And so I remember playing this house in middle school. The mom moved out and everything already, so it's still he's still occupying the house with his family.
Okay.
Says, hey man, we need something bigger. Got him into a house. Mom calls me and says, hey, Moses, now that the house is empty, I don't know what to do with it. House needed a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's full transparency. I tell them and say, hey, if you hit this house up to par, we do a market analysis, you could resell it for 190. At that time, that was when prices were a lot more affordable.
Sure.
So she says, hey, I don't got $40,000 to put into this.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So I don't have the 40K either, but I've learned by meeting the right people, I could go get a hard money loan.
Right. Leverage.
I used a hard money loan, OPM, other people's money.
First. That's right.
Other people's money is what I did. So I was like, but I don't know anything about it.
Sure.
I knew what it was. I knew I knew what the product was. I know nothing about it. Anthony White, awesome realtor, good dude. I say, hey, Anthony, I know you're flipping. I don't know anything about this, but I got this deal, got the contractor. I know how much it's going to cost. I don't know what I'm doing. Would you like to go 50-50 with me?
Smart move.
And he says, what do you mean? I said, I got the deal. I got everything. I just don't know how to go get I don't know where to start for hard money lenders.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously know this. 50-50. And he says, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you what's cool about this whole thing is we did it all off of a handshake.
That's awesome.
So all of a handshake. So we do this, introduces me to Moses. I'm not going to do this for you though.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. So it was a lot of growing pains. And then so he shows me how to get a hard
As it should be.
Absolutely.
As it should be.
Nothing that should ever be like, if it's that easy, then I'm like, oh, this is because when you hit some stuff, I'm like, oh, damn, I didn't expect this.
That's right.
So I learned a lot of it. So he puts me in contact, we do it, we get the hard money, shows me what draws are, how to hire contractors, how to get permits.
Mm-hmm.
Permits is a big deal.
Man,
flipping.
Don't do anything in shirts.
In general, man, do you do anything without a permit, man? You don't blink without a permit. They'll put a stop work order on you quick.
Yeah.
So I did that. He guided me he pointed me in the right direction. I did the legwork and we had some fun with it. He showed me how to do it. So I leveraged out. I think he made and put numbers out there. I think he probably made like $20,000 off of me.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been greedy.
Sure.
And said, hey, I want all the 45 or 50,000.
But note to self, you could have been greedy also.
Absolutely.
And not gone into that deal the way that you did. And I think it's super forward thinking of you. And it shows a lot about your character. It shows a lot about the drive and what, number one, well, that's actually number three, but you knew that this wasn't going to be your last one regardless.
Absolutely.
And a lot of folks tend to go, oh man, my first flip, I only made $5,000, or my first flip, I lost 10 grand. Okay. Or you can go pay for an education that's 40, and how much are you really going to use that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why not take this as a learning situation and get your ass up and do it again?
Yeah, and that's why I treated it as. I was like, hey, I might as well. I want someone, if I'm going to learn from somebody, I want someone standing next to me. I want the person who I'm trying to follow.
That's
trying
right.
to emulate.
And then you gave value.
Absolutely.
50%. Boom.
Hey, and just off the bat, it's not negotiable. So I told him, hey, I know your time is money.
Mm-hmm.
So he invested in me, and and my response was 50-50.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we had, I mean, it's real estate. We never know what to expect. Someone stole our damn AC compressor. I was like, I thought this shit was heavy. Apparently when I replaced it, I was like, oh, it's not that heavy. It makes sense why people steal this.
They used to do that with refrigerators and appliances in new home construction. Yes.
I was like, someone steals this. Like, yeah, it's pretty universal. And I was like, damn, bro. So now that's a learning thing. That's something I learned from it. But so that's when I started to emulate. So I started to practice what I preach.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to that is I flipped my first house. I made, let's say, like $25,000 off of that. And now I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
And now I know what to do. And thank you to Anthony. And to this day, I could still call Anthony and be like, hey, man, I advise.
Right.
So I started doing that. And the biggest flip that I ever did was one of my clients this is where money started. Now I get comfortable. Anthony and I split the expenses and all that. This one, I got some money in the bank. Now I could go get my own hard money because of his guidance.
Correct.
We did that. So we bought one for 55, put in 65 at the peak of the pandemic.
Oh, man.
Scary as shit. And then because one day my roofers got the sniffles, I'm like, hey, everyone go home. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
We don't know what's going on.
And it's risk without, you got to take the risk.
Absolutely.
And every part of me was scared. Your body's meant to
absolutely shut
protect
down.
you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, no, like, we're good. So it was a lot of risk, and then it ended up working out. And that was one of my biggest growing experiences because, no transaction's the same.
Yeah.
No house is the same. You pull off walls, there's termites. The city got involved with that one just because it was just, their perception is they look through the window like, oh, he's doing that without a permit. And it's, it's a lot so a lot of it's learning. So when I go back to it, it's flipping. I started to take Jack's advice, and then it started to do that. Now I'll tell you where it started to mess up me was I didn't use the money I was making to invest in more real estate.
Okay.
And that's the mistake I'll never do again now.
Sure.
I looked at it as, oh, I netted this. Now I can do those trips to Vegas when I woke up one day.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, it's also those levels, like Mick Mills said, there's levels to this shit.
Yeah.
And when you hit the new level, you think that is where it's at, where it's going to stay. But then you quickly realize that you've got to keep doing this. You know, whatever it is that you set your mind out and your hard work and your efforts and the risks that you take, you can't stop there or else it stops.
Yeah. And absolutely. And it'll go away just as fast as you did it. It goes just as fast.
Yeah.
So that's what now we're going into is, hey, now we got investments. We got to start holding them. We got to start holding these now. They got to be income producing properties. I told myself that my kids may not have a traditional college fund, but we're going to have, when they turn 18,
that's right,
they're going to have some properties. They're going to have some mailbox money.
That's right.
And as long as they're not doing some stupid, like, hey, I want to be a DJ. I'm like, hey, no offense to the DJs out there.
No offense, DJs.
Quake,
Go
y'all.
DJ.
Yeah, I love all y'all. Y'all made me some money too back in the day. But if my kid wants to get, when he's 18 and she's 18.
Call it a hobby.
Now it's, yeah. So it's like, hey, this is here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to sell it? Do you want to keep collecting this check? This is how we built this. And it's, what do you want to do with it? Let's go.
Right.
And instead of, hey, I've been putting $100 every month for your college fund or whatever it may be, I want to just start building generational wealth now.
Absolutely.
And that's where I try to, I've had a client, I'll make it quick, I had a client, I sold their 900 square foot house. I sold it to them and they're like, hey, and they did an addition and everything, like, hey, we're just outgrowing it.
Yeah.
So we want to sell and go to our forever home. Sold it for them. They went into their forever home. They're like, hey, you know, Moses, throughout our conversations, how do we get into rental properties? I said, oh, okay, they got some money put away for a down payment again. So I have a client who absolutely is going through a bad time in their life and they need to sell it.
Yeah.
Great investment property. So I said, hey, if you're interested, I could get you with my lender. We'll see if we get you approved. And they got approved. They bought a rental property. And now they thought their forever home and now they have their rental property.
Right.
And now what happens next is they're driving by and Priscilla's, I love her enthusiasm because we're helping her work still to this day. She says, Moses, I know you don't want to do this, but I thought we had found our forever home, but I found this house and I think I really like it. And so, but the house was large house, beautiful house.
Sure.
Great. But it needed foundation work. It just needed work. And I was like, man, you could go hard money and it's going to cost some money and so forth. Then we got real creative, a 203K FHA, right?
203K FHA.
What is that? FHA rehab loan. What is that?
203K.
Okay, so 203K.
Because a normal FHA is going to be your 203B.
Okay, so 203K FHA. Didn't know anything about it. Got them in contact with the lender, and then this house redid all the legwork. Now they're in their real forever home.
Yeah.
So their previous forever home. And I'm just like, I remember I teared up because I was like, dude, y'all just did what we talked about and y'all did what y'all are supposed to.
That's right.
Now you got this house with a ton of equity. That's your forever home for your growing family. You got one rental property and now we're working with them to get their first flip.
Wow.
So I'm just like, and that's where relationships come into play. And I appreciate them always using, trusting me for real estate needs. But I like being that mentor too to other people. I tell people in real estate, I want to be a lighthouse.
I like that.
You want to be a lighthouse? And
light.
Yeah. And they're like, what does that mean? I said, when you're lost, you know what the hell you're doing. I'm okay with taking a phone call. If you keep depositing, like you said, you're just going to, I'm believing it's going to come back in good karma some way. So I think that's what I try to do when it comes to business is be a giver, and not so much a taker.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be assholes that take advantage of it and they just take it for granted. And then but it is what it is.
And I feel like those people, you can't necessarily avoid them every time. You can see writing on the wall with certain things, but you're not going to change who you are and what you do with people or for people because of one person or one bad experience that you have, because that will change your entire philosophy. And that's not what it's about. Additionally, as far as the flips go, all of our flips for the most part were, I'm not going to say backdoor deals, but they were deals that were not on the market at all. They were friends of friends that heard that we were doing this. And that's how we were able to get a deal to be able to make a profit. There's a lot of folks out there that want to get into flipping and then they go to a realtor and say, hey, can you find me a house to flip? Yeah. If it's on the MLS, you're not making no money, right? So I want people to understand that most of the time when you come in contact with someone that is flipping properties, it's because they have a large network and their network is their net worth, if that makes sense.
It's absolutely, all my deals have come off of referrals.
Yeah.
Strictly off of it. Because I know I wouldn't buy this house if we were on MLS.
No.
I wouldn't buy this house from a wholesaler.
Yep.
So it's just,
And if it was on MLS for the price that it takes to make money, it would only be there for a short period of time.
absolutely. Yeah. And then people are going to jump on that.
That's right.
So that I tell people, I have friends who do it, and I say, hey, you got to get on there and put yourself out there more.
Mhm.
You want to find good deals, you got to put it out there, and you got to bank on that you have enough value in your friendships, and everyone's going to look out for you, that
Absolutely.
they're going to be sending you deals and whatever it may be from grandma, moms, dads, whatever it may be. So it's real big on the network is your net worth. So
Love that. Moses, dude, I think we're probably at an hour or so.
we're there.
So there's plenty more to talk about. I don't even think we got into a lot that we intended to. So I definitely want to have you back so we can have a part 2 of this.
Absolutely.
I think the conversation just kind of vibes and I love it. That being said, before we close this off, is there anything out there that you would tell our listeners? And right now we're about, I don't know, 6,400 or so subscribers. Finally, yeah.
Nice.
Is there anything that you would tell them that could help them? Maybe it's for realtors, maybe it's for brokers, maybe it's for buyers, maybe it's for lenders. It doesn't, maybe entrepreneurs. Is there anything out there that you would want to let them know?
Honestly, do everything with the right intentions. Do everything with the right intentions, and I promise you'll pay for it. Don't ever think you're too old to grow.
I like that.
It's people there. It's you didn't change. No, you're growing.
Mhm.
I'm 36, and I'm realizing that I had a lot of growing up to do when it comes to everything. Do everything with the right intentions, and I promise the business will come to you.
Absolutely.
Just come from contribution, and it's going to come back.
Boom. Moses, we didn't get into it, but how long you been sober now?
I'm going on 7 months, brother.
Boom.
Yeah,
That's
7
good
months.
stuff, man.
Yes,
That's a tough task for anybody, except for the Mormons. Of course. But that hats off to you and
Appreciate
keep going on that journey.
Absolutely.
In addition, we're going to be having Moses back to finish this off because we didn't even get into the sobriety conversation and why he decided to do that. There's plenty more to talk about within this. But that being the case, guys, I believe that there was plenty of key factors within this discussion that you can pull from and implement in what you do, whether you're a realtor, a lender, an entrepreneur, somebody that's still punching a clock. Maybe you're not a homeowner. Maybe you are a homeowner. Plenty of these little discussions that we've had can help you get that journey further down the road. And that is the overall goal with this. So if you are getting something out of these conversations, please make sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend, because you never know who actually needs this stuff. That being the case, Moses, thank you for part 1 of this great discussion. And ladies, gentlemen, they, them, all of you guys out there, we will catch you on the next one.